All right. Welcome. We're going to try to keep this review extremely simple as I possibly can. Usually my reviews are a little bit longer than most that you'll find out there, a little more in depth. The reason is that I usually get access to these programs. And so this one in particular with Jefferys and Marketing With You, I actually got access into the back office, and I can prove it because of the kitty cat. Yeah, anybody that's in this program knows the kitty cat. Anyways, just a little slight humor. My name's David. I am a highly successful online entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, I've done some SEO consulting for some very large companies. I've worked with hundreds of small business owners for local marketing, local SEO. But for the most part, the one thing that I've always loved to do was to work with individuals, helping them with affiliate marketing, network marketing, the things that most people struggle with. You know, most companies don't struggle too much with SEO anymore. Small business owners are trying to figure things out because they search out people like myself and maybe like you, and we show them how to build and brand and manage their stuff online. And that's exactly what Jefferys is trying to do for you with Marketing With You, as he's trying to help you build this kind of more niche, product-based empire online. Now, I'll tell you this right now, before I go on with this review, there are a ton of programs like this out there. There are a bajillion of them. And the thing is that I'm going to tell you this too right now. Is Marketing With You a good system, a good program? Yes, it is. Coming from me, that might surprise some of you who follow me. Actually, I do think that this is a good program. Now, it does have its faults, it does have its things, and we'll run over those, because I wanted to actually help you guys who are inside the program as well kind of take more advantage of that system in a better SEO manner, in a better marketing manner, especially going into 2013 and 2014. But I'll tell you this right now, of all the programs that I've looked at in the back offices, most of the time you guys are sit there and you're taught to, in systems like this, to create your own system. It's kind of similar to it, or just create a product launch and market this product and whatnot. Most of these systems back there in the back offices are just a jumbled mess of confusion. You don't know where to start, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do. I mean, my daughter and my kids are screaming at each other. So it's extremely frustrating, even trying to find your way around. I'm going to tell you this right now. Jefferys did put together a very clean back office. Probably one of the cleanest I've ever seen. So it's going to be easy for you to go through and find the information that you need. Let's go on to the actual training and kind of go over some of the overview on it. Now, you're going to find quite a few things in here. You're going to find a forum. Which is actually kind of cool. They have this little, this one little section in there where it's kind of like accountability, where you kind of are accountable to the other members inside the forum and everything else, where you can share your plans for the future online and everything else. My daughter is loud, like her daddy. The other thing is that it does have some on-screen recordings. We'll go through that in a minute. It does have some audio. It has a good master IM system in there and everything else. Now, when it comes to the actual training, I do whiteboards and I do on-screen recordings where I actually show people how to click on and do things and things like that. The one trip up that I found in here was it was a lot of words and just them copying and saying the words, and it was a lot of this little mastermind bubble stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever you're like, you start here, and then you move here, and then you move... Well, what does here look like? What does it look like? Can you show me this? Can you do this? Now, some of this stuff they're going to show you, but most of it only has to do with their own files and their own system, their own replicated websites, their own replicated information, their own replicated images, and all this other stuff. Things that, to tell you the truth, guys, gets you nowhere anymore. It really, really does. As a matter of fact, it's becoming absolutely annoying to the average person online to see all the hyped up stuff. If I have to see another empowered network doing this crazy hype, why in the world would I show anybody else's face on my brand, on my products, and my services than me. You know, it's building brand trust and everything else. I'm just telling you. I mean, that's how it is. Now, I understand you're trying to go after niche products and niche services, and you're trying to go in there and become with eBay and Amazon and whatever. And that is understood, and having good images and good multimedia within your blog and everything else. And that's the other thing. Let's start talking about some of the training that's in there. Let's start with domain names. How important, or better than that, better question than that. Are domain names, keyword-rich domain names, as effective as they were even 3 months, 90 days ago? No, they are not. And I can have this argument up and down with anybody online, but I'll tell you what, any SEO consultant worth his salt, any internet marketer worth his salt online, anybody who just goes simply to Google Webmaster Blog and searches it will know exactly what Google thinks about keyword-rich domains. If I have a product of honey, I'm not going to buy best or cheapest honeyproductsonline.com. I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to build myself a brand name, Busy Bee Honey. I'm going to buy busybeehoney.com. It's got my keywords in it. It's got a brandable name in it. It's got something that just makes sense to people. Something that catches the eye of people, captures their attention. Busy Bee Honey, not cheap honeyproductsonline.com or cheap honey products. I don't care about cheap honey products. What I want to know is the best products. Give me the best products. Give me some good products. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not going to skim. I want good honey. You know, the other thing is you know, the Penguin and Panda have pretty much destroyed a lot of the copied sites, a lot of the crazy content that's out there. It's also nailed the two things that are taught in here, two of the major things. Actually, three things, really, if you think about it in the end. One of them is the keyword-rich domain name. They're not as valuable anymore, and I'll show you what is most valuable online in just a second. Another thing is backlinks and commenting. As a matter of fact, those things really don't give you the real power that you need anymore. It helps. It's a piece of the puzzle. But the thing is that you need to have some sort of structure, some sort of content-based structure online today. And not just with a Facebook page, not with a Google Plus page, not with all of this, but with a good solid blog and website where all of your social media can be funneled in to this one brand presence online. Now, Alex Jefferys did get that right. When he had his little balloon up there and he had his blog on here, he was correct about having all of these outside extremities of my little son here. You know, he was correct about that. Now, did he go into depth on how to grab all of this? No, not really. So you really need to know how to actually go out and do this. First off, one of the major factors today, as a matter of fact, pretty soon 90% of all information consumption online will be video. Why? Because we're freaking lazy. It's just the way it is. I'd rather watch my information and listen to my information than read this crap. It's just how it is. You know, I'm a blogger. I write. I do videos because I'm an internet marketer too. I practice good SEO strategies because I'm an SEO as well. So the thing is that I take all of these things from social media to SEO to SEM with my sales funnels and my email marketing. I also take things like multimedia. I take things like images and videos and put these things to good use within my websites. eMarketerPros.com, brand new website, got it ranked, doing really well, getting a lot of traffic. But see, I see on the average day of my 4 websites or blogs that I work on, my average days see anywhere from 300 to nearly 500 or 600 views and hits per day. And I have an actual 36% opt-in rate. That's pretty huge. That's pretty huge for a ding-dong like me out here in the world, just marketing. But the thing is I'm giving something that I think really lacks in the training in Alex Jefferys' system, which is based on 2 things: content and value. Now, they will stress this in there, but how you actually implement this is really kind of short-winded. That's the biggest problem. So you really need to focus in on content and adding value. You know, people don't buy stuff all the time. They don't buy stuff immediately. There are some people out there that do. As a matter of fact, let's give you just a few more facts here real quick about getting out there and getting ranked in those search engines. Did you know that 72% of the people surveyed when it came to purchasing online or subscribing to something online, 72% of them, 72% of them trusted organic results. Organic. Yeah, that section right there. And here's the deal. Most people, even some of Alex's friends had mentioned that, 90% of all the clicks happen on the first link. Not true again. As a matter of fact, basically in a nutshell, you'll find out that about 80% of all clicks happen on the whole front page. Now, much of this, about 65 or 60% of what, of this right here is going to be within the first 4 links. First 4 links. Don't forget, Google's given us a really good advantage to looking at a website today before we click on it. That's right, we just click on the little arrow thing and it gives us kind of an idea of what this website or this blog is all about. We can kind of look and say, oh crap, now they're just going to sell me, marketing with me junk or Empower Network. I don't want that. I want information. I want an answer to my problem. I want a solution to my problem. I want to know more about this subject. I want this. I want this. This is one of those magic little tiny things that Google did that actually gets quite a bit of little click-ons on a search. You do it, I do it, because we don't want to be sold. Nobody wants to be sold. We want to be informed. And see, that's the thing. That's where content comes in. Content informs. If they say we live in the information age, what in the world do you think is going to take to market? Information. So you're going to have to do it. Now, being in the back office, I looked in for some of the people that are on there, and I started Googling and started checking out some of their websites. I think I looked at about 10 different people, and I looked at their websites. 6 of them had either already dropped off the planet, or their website was just, it was just one of those, free little WordPress blog things that really made no sense. I tried to Google some of their stuff, couldn't find them in the search engines, but there was about 3 or 4 there that dominated. And the reason they dominated, and I noticed this right off the bat, is that 2 of them actually implemented good multimedia, good video, good images. They had a good amount of content within their blog. Wonderful. I thought that was just absolutely great. As a matter of fact, I left you guys a comment. That was just, really, really nice to see that, almost half, pretty close to half of those 10 people pretty much got it. So I could almost guarantee that about 10 to 15% of the people inside that system are really going to function okay. But is this really something that is really for newbies to online marketing? If you're brand new to the internet, you're going to have a difficult time with this. First off, yeah, you might be able to download all their themes and download all their little plugins and everything else, but that's really not going to do you any good. It's not going to separate you from the crowd. I looked at one of the live calls and everything's like, well, we're all selling the same stuff, or what if we're selling the same stuff and blah, blah, blah. What if you are? If your website looks like everybody else in the Empower Network website, good luck with that. That can be a little difficult. That's why I branded myself. I went out and actually got some premium themes. I actually went out and learned how to work with them, learned how to create good content, learned how to dominate in the search engines, learned how to be an online mentor. These are the things that I learned, and these are the things that I applied. Now, is this system a good system? I think it's a good system. I think it's a great system, especially if you have an inkling of an idea of what you're doing. Maybe you've been in other systems before and you have a good sense of what's going on. This one's going to actually probably clear up a lot of your issues, especially if you have some sort of content-based, just an understanding of what content is and how it actually works online and how to basically put all these little nuts and bolts together. This one's going to actually kind of screw in the nuts and the bolts and everything else, and I think it's a good system. If you're brand new to the internet, I suggest this. If you get in here, make sure that you go out and you try to find how to really implement some good video marketing strategies, how to write some really good content, understand exactly what Google's looking for. Because Google, guys, I don't care what they say, Google takes over 75% of the search engine marketing traffic. That's just a fact. You're going to have to SEO and, you know, basically do your stuff for Google. You're going to have to. But here's the thing about Google. You're not marketing to Google. Google ain't going to buy your crap. They ain't going to buy your stuff. They're just ranking it. They're trying to give the best answer to the question that is asked of its search engine. So who are you really optimizing for? People like me. I want to know about fly fishing rods and golf clubs. I want to know this. I want the best answer to my question. And if you just by chance have that product that I can click on right on my site and a good call to action, I'm in. I'm in. But you got to be there. Anyways, thank you guys very much for going over this review. Alex Jefferys has a really good system, especially if you have an idea of what's going on in, you know, what's basically going on online. If you have a kind of a good concept. If you're a newbie, you know, I would say you could probably go for it, but what I would do is actually grab, there's plenty of free training online, Google Webmaster blogs, you can find my blogs, lots of good information on how to implement certain things, absolutely free, that will help you to better build and brand that thing, where you can get some of the more information that, you know, might have been lacking inside the system itself. But is it a good system? I think it's a good system. Anyways, thank you guys very much no matter what. God bless.